Hi, everybody. Welcome to Chasing Banners, the official podcast of the Southern Connecticut Conference. I'm Al Carbone. I'm the commissioner of the SCC, and I am so pleased to introduce you to this podcast series, but most importantly, to do it with two people that I admire very much, Matt Conyers and John Steady.
Thanks, Al. It's a lot of fun to be here. We've been talking about a podcast and ways to promote the league for a long time, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. I think we have some fun topics in store, and I think we're gonna have some fun this season.
John, Al, I thought I made it when I was named an SCC coach, but the pinnacle is right here. SCC podcast with longtime SCC photographer and just great guy all around, John Steady. And in my opinion, and the opinion of many, the best high school commissioner out there, Al Carbone. This is going to be a great platform for our league, and I really think a great platform for high school athletics, something we all care very, very deeply about in this room.
Great. And so let's just start right now. Why chasing banners? What's that mean, John?
I think most of these conversations have always started around championship events, which is where we're always hanging out and talking about the history of the SCC or talking about great games if we're on the sideline at a championship game. It all comes down to that team holding that iconic blue banner at the end, taking so many of those pictures. That really is kind of what everybody's chasing, is they're chasing that blue SCC banner. You know, what better name for a podcast that's going to talk about some of the history and fun stuff that's gone on in this league over the history of the last 30 years.
John, and it really is something these coaches and student athletes do want. They want that image with that SCC banner, that blue banner. It pops off, whether it's on Instagram or on Facebook or wherever it may be. It is something that does matter. And I think it matters because there's a lot of pride in this league. For me, chasing banners obviously is about winning championships and feeling that moment of excitement and success when you win one. But I think it's also about what we try and do in the SEC. I started off, I was excited to be in this league because it was an innovative league. It was a league that kept pushing and kept trying to be better. It didn't just stay at status quo. It always tried to evolve. I think that's a credit to you, Al. I think it's a credit to the people and the coaches that are in this community that want to keep getting better. And I think that fits perfectly with the theme of this podcast, chasing banners and always pushing, trying to build for something greater, something better.
It's funny you say about aspiring to something. So like I've been involved in this league for 22 years as the commissioner, very proud of the success. And we talk about the numbers, 590 state championships since 1994. It's now 32 years. Another 500 were state runners up. So you're talking over 1,000 teams in the 32-year history of this league who have won state championships, hundreds and hundreds more of league championships that we offered. So it's so nice to hear about that pursuit. But it is about high school athletics. It's about that experience. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun talking about that high school experience because it's about the student athletes, it's about the coaches, it's about the parents, it's about the friends and the communities that we all serve. And we have a diverse community in the SEC, which is a great thing. Urban, suburban, private schools, public schools, ranging from Madison to Fairfield, from Shelton to Cheshire. It's a unique footprint, 3 counties. So there's a lot of good stories that have been told over these 30 years. And I think we're going to encapsulate that and have some fun doing it in this podcast. And I'm just so happy that you guys are be a part of it. So like we talk about this now. So like, what do we want to talk about? What do we want to do? So what are some of the ideas you guys have? Because you guys are a big part of this.
I'm going to turn to John quickly because you got the one you've been itching to get out. You want to tell the...
So I think a couple things, we want to have some fun with this. And, a couple things like who is the Mount Rushmore of SEC athletes? Like who are the best athletes that we've seen in 30 years in the SEC? Some other fun things like me, if I'm traveling around games on Friday night, where am I supposed to go eat when I go to Shelton? Like, I want to know the best spots. Who's got the best concession stand? I think there's a lot of light and fun stuff that's going to be very different than some of the other things you hear around here.
I was waiting for John to get to the food topic. I knew you liked Rushmore. I thought you might side with the food topic first. But yeah, we are excited to talk about who has the best hockey rink food, who has the best baseball food. But I'm also excited to talk about storylines. I think our league, you talked about it, Al, just right there at the top, but it's a very unique league. And it's always in the limelight. I think we can present those storylines in new and fun ways. I think, we are guys that listen to a lot of different podcasts. We follow what's happening in news media, sports media in particular. It's been for us, a lifetime following it, right? So we want to tell you some of those storylines in our league in new and fun ways. And I'm excited to share the stories of kids that you might have heard about and the kids that you haven't heard about yet. I think there's a lot that we can tell you that's going on that maybe you weren't clued in on, and we can help, point you in the right direction to get to that basketball game, to get to that track meet, to talk about a golfer that's starting to put together something.
So we're not going to talk about whether Thanksgiving Day football is important to the communities that we serve. Wait. No.
This is a Al Carbone podcast,
Okay.
right? Yeah, they were waiting for that, Al. Yeah.
No, I think that's the fun start is like we are in, 16, 17 different communities around this area driving, and we'll talk about the economic impact that high school sports has in communities on Friday nights, on Saturday nights, and hockey rinks, cross country meets that we go to, track meets that we host as leagues, at the Floyd Little. There's a lot of stuff that goes on. We have 29 different sports, and it only takes 4 years. And so I think this is not college, where you have, redshirt years and you have, extra years and transfer portals and all this stuff. It's 4 years to play for your high school, team and your school, to represent your school. And I think we can get a lot of great content about that. So really looking forward to working with you guys and having some fun doing it.
Yeah, I think when we were talking and planning the podcast, the one thing that kept coming up was the experiences. We joked about you saving some box scores from back in the day, having some things left in your wallet, and I brought up just some moments that stand out, right? And so I think that is the thing we're going to hold tight to in what we do here. We're going to bring in guests too, but really capturing the excitement of the high school experience and making sure that is still getting out there. Obviously, it's a changing media landscape, and we want to do our part to make sure we're giving back, because it's given a lot to the three gentlemen in this room right now. If people want to call us gentlemen, yeah. So.
I think also I think all three of us used to tell these stories through the written word, we all talk about it on sidelines now, and we spend a lot of time on these conversations. And we're just planning on sharing them now. We don't share it through the written word anymore. We used to all work at newspapers, used to write for a newspaper, and that industry has changed a little bit, and those stories aren't always getting told as much now. So, one other thing is, some of the people that leave the SCC and go on to big things, talking about the people that have moved on but are still, making the SCC proud.
Yeah, and I think that's what's great in 23 member schools, athletics, and even leadership and other activities, sportsmanship, which is so important to the whole perspective. So, we can have a lot of fun doing that. But what I really just want to, do is just have some banter back and forth about, who's really the best. And I think we're going to uncover some of the great things that we never realized, how really great this league has been. And we talk about, history. The history is the history. And the student athletes now weren't born probably halfway through this league. And so there's half of this league's history has already been set and written before these athletes even were born. So I think there's a lot of connections and a lot of opportunities to tell some really fun stuff.
Yeah, and that's what I'm excited for, Al. I think it's going to be fun for this current generation who knows people like Gary Moore Jr., right? But to tie them to the beginning of this league and compare and not put anybody down, but really stack them up next to each other. And that's what we're going to be doing here, stacking up the greats that got this thing started to the ones that are pushing forward it now.
And just to kind of tie it all into the whole chasing banners things is when you go back into your high school and you look up at the rafters and there's a banner that represents a significant achievement. So again, not to get all, literary emotional about it, but people love going back and recollecting about those experiences that they had.
I thought you were going to give us a couple lyrics from Bruce Springsteen and Glory Days right there.
No,
Yeah.
maybe.
I thought he was gonna go back to a box score.
I will bring the box score back, like that when we used to, but I think that's the point, is that why chasing banners is because there's always something to chase. And, especially in our league, that blue banner represents a big part of, what we've tried to do for our student athletes and our students and coaches. And, 32 years goes by pretty fast. And I think there's a lot of history behind it. All right.
Are you going to tease when they're going to get the great Thanksgiving football debate?
No, I think
we're going to hold this from Milford and New Milford wondering about that. Yeah.
We're going to hold that. We'll hold that for, there. Let's get going and have some fun. But I love the I love the rankings. I love the best places to go, and I think every community is going to, kind of appreciate our thinking, and we want people to give us the feedback and, and promote it, via social media and have some fun with this. And we thank Doug, right, our producer here,
we've
who's
heard his
helping us out.
opinions.
We've heard his opinions already,
Yeah.
right? So he'll be wearing his SCC hat, but again, it's all about having some fun, and I think we're going to do that over these next several months.
We hope actually that people are chiming in too. We're going to miss stuff when we have some of these debates. So I hope when we're walking sidelines, people are coming up and telling us, "Hey, you missed so and so in your discussion about football or baseball or whatever we're talking about when you're talking about the best athletes."
And we're going to be interactive, right, too. We want to put this on a lot of the SEC platforms. Al and the league does a great job of getting stuff out there, but we want to allow you. We want to hear your feedback through those platforms. So, too, we're going to put some clips out. We're going to put some sound bites out, and we want you to tell us. We're not afraid of the tomatoes coming at us or their harsh criticisms, but or your opinions. That's what makes this league great, and it makes again, I sound like I'm kissing up here, but our commissioner great because he doesn't shy away from the debates, and we're gonna have some fun ones.
All right, guys, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Look forward to our next podcast, and we'll share all the great information and the ideas and the content with you. So we're gonna have a lot of fun this year, and keep chasing banners.